Token Metrics is a cryptocurrency investment platform that helps users leverage machine learning to become better crypto investors. Our in-depth analysis helps eliminate the emotions of investing, find profitable investment opportunities, and filters out scams. Learn more at tokenmetrics.com.
We are live. This is the Market Update. I'm your host, Bill Noble. If you need a roadmap in crypto and you need to make money in crypto, subscribe to this channel. Turn on the alerts bell so you know when we're going live. And of course, if you like the content, please give us the thumbs up. This stream is brought to you by tokenmetrics.com. The best research in the business, right? People who have stayed with us have not gotten wrecked. And even if you are wrecked, we're here to help you navigate the next stage. So let's welcome who's coming on the stream today. Okay, Mauro's here. Brian from Spain. Okay, the Washlands are here. Right? East Tennessee, Algeria. Right? Elijah's here. Welcome. Welcome to the show. Now, what we're going to do today is we're going to review our top 10 stages of like a crash, right? We're going to figure out where we are, right, in the sort of segment, where we are in the cycle. And then we're going to go through, don't go anywhere, because we're going to have 15 altcoin charts of the biggest altcoins with major support and major resistance. So the big question is, right, is your coin close to support or resistance? Okay. Daniel is asking, he's high from Colombia. He wants to know if this rally, if there's still some upside. You know, I have to admit that I have never seen so much stress about a crypto rally, right? First, people were like, oh my God, are we going to get one? Then we got one. Now everyone's like, is it going to last? Should I get out? Should I get in? What should I do? Chris says, save us. I will do my best. So for all of our people from Belgium, right, and all over the world, our friends from London and Holland, Boston, all over from Europe, we have Los Angeles in the house. Thank you. Okay. Now, let's kick off with your market update. Let's talk about 1929, the subject that no one wants to talk about. What happened in 1929? Well, people got leveraged, partied for years, literally made up fake assets, fake mutual funds. Everything went up. It was up only. And then it started to crack. And then it was down only. Realistically, the world's never seen anything since, right? There have been big down moves and big crashes, but nothing to the nature of 1929. So there's two ways to look at it. Either it's over, right? And you can go, right? For TikTok, right? We're done. All right. Or you have to get ready for something much worse because, oh, by the way, the inflation numbers are coming out soon. Okay. Everyone was like so pumped up about Luna that they forgot about all this other stuff that gave the market a hard time that led to Luna. Let's talk about the anatomy of a crash. So these are like the 10 parts that exist if you're going to have a crash. All right. So let's start with number one. Beware of the failed rally, right? That was back at like 3,400 ETH, right? The market would lurch up and come back down, and it did it twice. Then the market went down and then reversed. And everybody covered and went long at the top, and I call that don't feed the bear. Because then the market turns and goes back down, And everyone is afraid to be short, right? Everyone goes, oh my God, it's down. I can't be short. I can't sell. I can't. And then they start rationalizing, right? Like, we're all going to make it. That would be nice, but are we? We're all going to make it can have serious consequences because that's the first stage of the crash. After everybody goes, we're all going to make it. Then after the decline, I tell people, don't turn your back on the bear. That means when it goes down or it starts to go down again, people just go, and they ignore it. Like, I'm not selling it down there. Or I'm holding something that's outperforming and I don't have to sell, right? Don't turn your back on the bear because then the bear catches it by surprise. And that's crash part 2. Then there's something I call the last rally. Okay. Today or the next 3 days, this may be the last rally, right? Where there's one final sigh of relief where everybody goes, okay, it's over. And then if the crash story holds, the next thing that should happen is you should get 7 to 8 straight down days or 7 to 8 straight down weeks. Stock market's already down 6 straight weeks. And then after the 6 to 7 days or 6 to 7 down weeks, right? Even if though that's a big decline, after that, that's when you get the mushroom cloud, the 1929 event where everybody gets liquidated, like a system-wide margin call. Every levered person, everybody who used securities, crypto, and NFTs to get a loan gets margin called all at once. That's what 1921 was. So when we say in crypto, everybody gets liquidated, now we're talking about everybody getting liquidated, not only people who borrowed money, but also distress in certain assets like bonds, mortgage bonds, and all kinds of stuff in legacy. So this could all come to a head all at once. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get you ready. We're going to explain, how this 1929 thing could happen. And then we're going to just take a practical approach. And I'm going to say, all right, regardless of the scenario, here are support and resistance levels from quant and AI that, should be relevant for the big coins that I know you guys are interested in. That's going to be our altcoin overtime for today. Okay, let's look at total crypto market cap. So I'm looking at 1.45 trillion. Its total is the symbol. Okay. Now, if total is above 1.45 trillion, everything is okay. Probably. If total is not above 1.45 trillion, even if there's a decent rally today, there's still risk of total crypto market cap losing half of its value. So this structure, you see me draw these structures before, it's called the hidden pivot method, right? Sometimes it works really good, right? It doesn't always work, but when it works, it really works. Okay. So when you see something like this, you say, you know what? This whole idea of the market getting oversold and then crashing is not only possible from a TA point of view, but it's also in line with crypto history, which I won't go into just yet. So total 2, that's crypto market cap without without Bitcoin. So it's just, right? It's just Ethereum and altcoins, right? Below 864 billion, there's risk of 464. So there is going to need to be a very robust rally, particularly in ETH, to bail out the market. Now, total 3, which is total altcoin market cap, has downside to 286 billion. And you're like, Bill, that's crazy. Well, is it? I mean, that would put total altcoin market cap back where it was in Feb of 2021. I mean, MicroStrategy is already back where it was in November of 2020. More on that later. So I think when it comes to like the broader market, you have to start looking at total Total 2 and Total 3 to do some of your chart work, because all the different altcoins literally are all over the place. You'll see that later. Now let's talk about key levels in Bitcoin. So what is the key level in Bitcoin? It is 31,250. Okay? 31,250 is the key level. If that level is support, Bitcoin is okay. If Bitcoin is below 31,200 for TikTok, 14K is the best case scenario. So we're cheering for a rally because nobody wants to go through 1929. But if the rally doesn't happen, or if it fails at this level, then you need to pay attention, right? Because that's when something really bad can start happening. Now we're looking at Ethereum. We're looking at 24.25. So for TikTok, in Ethereum, 24.25 is the key level, right? If it's above it, it's good. If it's below it, you know, you could be talking about risk to as deep as 1,200, right? Don't shoot the messenger, right? Don't shoot the messenger. All I'm saying is all of these charts support the idea that the market has got to rally. And if it doesn't, or if the rally fails, you're going to start an event that could cause the market to lose half of its value. In 2018, I was on a stage in Las Vegas at a crypto conference. I got on a plane. The market was down 20% when I left. 3 weeks later, Bitcoin was down 50%. It had gone from 6,000 to 3,000. Okay, so this type of stuff can occur. Now, looking at it from another point of view, ETH speed resistance fan lines, right? So these are diagonal points, also show that, say, like 2350 matters for ETH. So if ETH is above that, okay. If it's not, the next diagonal line is all the way down at 1,500. Now we have to start talking about stocks. Let's talk about stocks. This is SPX weekly. These are Fibonacci circle lines. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for inflection points that could trigger the next level of moves, or the next round of moves. Okay. Now I use Gann analysis for that. In this particular case, I'm using S&P. So if S&P starts falling apart around May 16th, okay, so that would be like next week. This is a weekly chart. If S&P starts cracking next week, right, especially since there are 6 consecutive down weeks already, that means you could have down week number 7, down week number 8, and then the crash would start. So even if crypto and stocks manage a good day today, right, on a weekly basis, you would think that if stocks don't rally, that you could be 2 weeks away. You could have 2 more down weeks, and then some sort of mega event would get started. Because if stocks are in trouble, a lot of stocks are oversold. If stocks are in trouble, what is going to happen to the most speculative assets? Okay, looking closely at S&P, if everything goes, you know, kind of sideways, you could be looking at 3175 in S&P. Okay, now looking at S&P futures, okay, we're looking at not day 6, but day 5. So it's going to be very important to see if ES1 closes up or down today. It was down when I started the stream. Now, as a reminder of what you don't want to be reminded of, in moves like 87, right, it was sort of like there would be one green day. So it was like down, down, green day, and then down, down, boom, right? That's why I think I'm calling whatever's going on today and tomorrow the last rally. Now, if I'm wrong, the whole thing's just going to go up. That's great, right? But if I'm right, and this is the last rally, there is precedent. This is the 87 chart. Right here, you can see right around kind of day 5, right? There was like one green day, the last rally, and then boom, that was it. Okay. Crypto in 2020, Bitcoin was the same thing. It was like 4 down days, one bounce day, and then they didn't bother with the whole count. They just went, right? So you can get a series of down days, an attempt at a bounce, and then that's it. So if today is the last rally, it's a bold call, right? It's a call only you can make, because you have to ask yourself, can I handle a 50% wipeout? Can I get wiped out? Can I afford that? Let's discuss how a wipeout would occur. Bitcoin Magazine got a tweet that says the MicroStrategy CEO says the company alone can withstand Bitcoin down to 3,000. Okay, but here's a twist, right? The CFO has already stated that they've got a liquidation price around 21,000. Okay, so they have leveraged Bitcoin. They just don't hold physical Bitcoin. They're levered. Now, I understand that MicroStrategy is borrowed money to try to shore up their position. But look at the bottom line here. What are they putting up as collateral? So think about this. They might have a problem with Bitcoin, so they get a loan, and for that loan, they pledge Bitcoin. So if their position blows up, the loan blows up because the collateral blew up. You're promising more of what you're afraid to go down to a lender and claiming that's shoring you up. Right? In other words, if you were going to buy Bitcoin and you pledged gold or your house, that's one thing. But if these guys, and this is if these guys are pledging, they're borrowing money to buy Bitcoin or to shore up their position, and the collateral on the loan is also Bitcoin, doesn't that mean double trouble? Their margin position down, liquidated. If that's liquidated, their loan is liquidated. Oh, wait, the collateral has to be sold at the market, right? So as they're getting liquidated, their collateral's getting liquidated. So it's a double trouble. Now, I don't, press releases, companies, Michael Saylor, he's a big figure in crypto. I heard a lot of this type of stuff in 2008, right? And if the stock continues to drop, that's the ultimate litmus test, right? Not what anyone says, not even what I think, right? If the stock continues to drop, there's a problem with leverage. Okay, let's look at MicroStrategy versus Bitcoin. Okay, here's Bitcoin in blue, right? And MicroStrategy stock is the candle chart. MicroStrategy stock is now below where it was in November of 2020. Okay, so this is not labeled right. I'm sorry. This is a weekly chart, not a daily chart. Okay, but still, same point, right? Like if MicroStrategy was Bitcoin, it would be below 20K. So if this stock continues to fall out of bed, even with the market bouncing, right, you have to be very careful because, again, there are people out there that hold MicroStrategy's debt. They issued bonds. That's how they borrowed money to buy Bitcoin. Can you imagine being the guy out there holding the IOU? He's filling out his application to McDonald's. Okay? Anybody who's holding this guy's debt. So, this is something you need to think about. You're like, okay, Bill, here's the lesson on 1929, blah, 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 blah. Please tell me something good. Yes, I can tell you something good. If the market continues to go up and this stock reverses, then it's over. But if this stock doesn't reverse or the market goes up and creates the illusion of safety, right, only to meet the inflation number tomorrow. Okay, looking at Bitcoin. Now let's talk about another trap, and altcoin overtime is coming up soon. One of the things that I want to do in my show, regardless however many people watch it, right? Yesterday we had 11,000 people. So hats off to all our friends out there that watched it and hit that like button. everybody is going to start talking about the 200-week moving average. Now, this is a big Benjamin Cohen thing, and I'm starting to see hedge funds put it out. I'm always skeptical about hedge funds when they put out obvious technical analysis points. So Bitcoin historically has not stayed below the 200-week moving average really ever, even with the biggest crashes. So conveniently, that's where Michael Saylor's liquidation point is. And that's a good strategy on their part, right? They would have to have an epic break of resistance in order to get liquidated. However, let me suggest this to you. Think about this. Retail is going to see Benjamin Cohen. The hedge funds are putting out the research. Everybody, if they see Bitcoin at 21K, everybody is going to lean on the 200-week moving average. So here come all the little people, and they're going to stand there underneath this moving average, and they're going to put their rent money up, and they're going to bid. And I'm like, all right, well, I hope they buy it and make it. But as an analyst, I'm duty bound to ask this question. What happens if all the little people come up and bid, and then the hedge funds hit everybody to try to get Saylor liquidated, right? Or big players who have to hedge use that as a liquidity point. They say, all right, it's a liquidity event. Everyone, let's meet at the 200-week moving average, and let's see who wins. And if people are afraid enough, they'll come in and fill everybody and hit all the bids sitting at that moving average. Now, normally in crypto, what you get is like you get a wick down and that's it. So I have 14K. That's kind of like the, end game if everybody gets blown out. That's if it's only crypto. But what happens if it's crypto, stocks, bonds, inflation, oil? What happens if all of that is all mixed together? Like everyone got so focused yesterday on Luna, right? Everyone was like, oh my God, the UST stablecoin is at 68 cents. All right, well, the stablecoin went back to $1. It was a nice trading opportunity. Okay, and the price of the Luna token crashed. And everyone was like, oh, well, it was a problem with Luna and UST. And I'm like, was it? Was it? Or was it a problem where deep down inside, they lost confidence in that whole little ecosystem because it was collateralized by Bitcoin? Right? In other words, I'm looking at this, I'm going, why is everyone losing confidence in this stable coin? This ecosystem is backed by Bitcoin. And then I'm watching this thing come completely unglued. And then I listen to everybody talk all day and night about everything except the one thing that mattered, was that the whole ecosystem was supposed to be solid because it was backed by Bitcoin. So it's almost like someone went up to the whole cryptocurrency ecosystem and punched it right in the face and cut it over the eye to where crypto's like, oh God, right? Like Bitcoin was like the unstoppable big dog, and boom, somebody cut Bitcoin. Somebody dented the Bitcoin narrative, okay? Now, I don't want to dent the Bitcoin narrative. I'm a crypto guy. But I'm looking at this and I'm like, 31,000, 31.2K matters. And everybody, which means too many people, think 21K is support. So what happens if it goes down there? What happens if it goes down there? Well, first of all, it can go down there because, like I said, Luna didn't wreck Luna. Luna didn't wreck UST, or UST didn't wreck Luna. Luna and UST wrecked the Bitcoin narrative temporarily. Okay? It hurt the idea of Bitcoin is indestructible. So if that carries over, right, and you have stocks and currencies and bonds all doing unfriendly things all at the same time, 14K is the best case scenario because the little guy buys at 21, the bigger guys wipe out the market, and I don't know where it stops after that. You know, in 2008, the Luna of the day was Bear Stearns. It was like the first bank to blow up. And the first bank blew up. It was in March, and everyone's like, oh, okay, well, good, we're done with that, right? Bear Stearns got sold off. You know, the Fed, you know, did an arranged marriage. Everything was packaged up nice and tidy. And that was that. And everyone's like, everything's fine. And then a certain number of months later, and it was a nightmare. Luna wasn't the end. Luna wasn't the capitulation event, I don't think. Luna could be the start of a capitulation event in Bitcoin and stocks because crypto's attempt at making a new banking system ran into a hiccup, as all banking systems do. As all banking systems do. So they're going to tell you that 21,000 is the 200-week moving average, and that's good support. And I'm here to say on YouTube that that's bullshit, right? That's a trap, right? It may wind up holding, but how far below it does it go? Do you have to spend 2 or 3 weeks, or is the wick down so unbelievable that there's like a liquidity problem? So in sum, let's hope 31,000 holds its support and we don't have to deal with it. Now, as an aside, the inflation number is coming out tomorrow. So with crypto gymnastics taking a temporary break, they move to inflation. So TLT, that's the bond ETF, right? It's down 6 straight months, right? Remember I was talking about, you know, down 6 or 8 months in a row and then boom. You have to be careful that there's no disaster in bonds that triggers the disaster other places. So TLT is an ETF, so it trades in the stock market. So you can like get it on TradingView and kind of understand it, right? It's like, you know, bonds up, bonds down, easy, right? 114.66, 114.66. That's the key level in TLT, which you can watch when that inflation number comes out tomorrow. And that is the market update. All right. Okay, Pat says Biden is supposed to address inflation. Okay. That is interesting, right? I think Biden is waking up to the fact that they've been printing money for so long that he's left holding a huge bag. In that respect, I actually feel sorry for the guy, right? This has been brewing for 12 years, okay? All right, Crypto Daddy Scott, hi, welcome. Okay, please don't forget to hit the like button. Someone's asking me, is the crash over or is it still going down? Okay, last night I was talking about ETH having a 1700 target. We'll get to that in a second. Okay. It's not like Saylor had said something similar happened in the .com bust. Oh, wait. Yeah, Saylor got in trouble during the .com bust for creative accounting. So I don't know. I had to actually do a term paper in graduate school, kind of almost defending or taking a counterpoint that he actually did the right thing with accounting. Okay. Now the question is, how much of that Bitcoin is levered? Okay. You know, Luna was the shiny ball in the corner, distracted many. Oh, God. Thank God when that thing started to come off its high, I was like, you know what? I don't think I want to do this. I had no idea, but it just didn't have the rally. It didn't have the punch that other things did when it went up. Seriously. So people are asking for all kinds of different coins. Taz is here. Welcome, sir. I've got Litecoin for you. Okay. Somebody has lost a lot of money. I'm sorry about that. Okay. Steve is throwing in some like Wikipedia style stuff about 1929. So just to review, and then put that away. The 1929 crash was so destructive that it actually hurt the overall economy. Matter of fact, it crushed it because everybody went to liquidate collateral. Everybody went to liquidate assets, and those assets were basically not there. They were like making up different types of stock funds back in the day. So I put a whole bunch of stuff on my Twitter. I kind of buried it in an ETH GAN tweet. There's a thread at the bottom where I talk about this because I don't want to over talk it on the stream. If you want the hardcore stuff, you can go to my Twitter and check that out. But what I want to get everybody ready for is support and resistance levels so you know what to do with your coin, okay, in case all this happens now or 3 days from now, right? Because if this is the last rally, folks, if this is like 1 or 2 days of up and then done, then this thing is going to start moving so fast, we're going to have to stream 3 times a day, okay? So let's go back to the PowerPoint for altcoin overtime. Altcoin overtime. These are support and resistance levels generated by our AI, right? So AI and machine learning. Let me tell you something, folks. This methodology has been hotter than a pistol barrel. I swear. You followed this, you made money. If you watch this show, you made money or you didn't lose money. So subscribe to this channel. Don't forget, at tokenmetrics.com, you can get killer research reports, right, with charts like this in it, right, where we publish 7 days a week. So let's take a look at Bitcoin. Obviously, there was support at 37,500, and when it broke, it went right to the next point at 29,527. In other words, RAI had the same conclusion as I had in my GAN work, that there was no support. Now, we're going to recalculate some levels, but for the moment, I guess it's a good thing that 29,500 is holding. Now, again, from the GAN work that I did put on my Twitter, 29,500 is, you know, a little bit more important than, oh yeah, duh, it's below 30. It's not only a level from Quant AI, but it's also from GAN, right? From GAN price time work, which means if Bitcoin slips below 30K and just sits there, right, then that's what could trigger a break. The same way a break below 37.5 triggered the break, it could happen again at that level. So if you're watching this later, be careful of a break of 29,500 ETH. Right now, yesterday I talked about 1720 in ETH. As of now, RAI is not showing anybody home in terms of support until 1720. That's it. Right now, the AI could change its mind tomorrow, okay? But right now, that's what it is. So if you get a failed rally in ETH, think about it. What's everybody going to do that has NFTs? They got to sell ETH, right? What's going to happen to everybody who just can't hedge other altcoins? They're going to sell ETH. They're going to hedge. Now, long-term, ETH probably makes sense, but nothing about a crash makes sense. The only thing about a crash that makes sense is that the crash is so shocking if it happens, right? It's actually exhausting for me personally to talk about this day in and day out because of how shocking I know these events are. I've been in some of them, right? When I started in the market, we lived in fear of 87, right? Everybody did. Like the bond market would go boom, and everybody would think, oh my God, it's 87 again. Crashes can be so jarring. So if you think everything is okay because ETH went up 15% today, I would encourage you to think again. Okay, Luna. Support was at 74. It broke that. It never looked back. Now we're trying to figure out where it stops. My guess is it's going to try to get back above 33. Okay? Trying to get back above 33. Okay? If 33 holds, then maybe there's a shot at stability in that 43 to 50 area. Now, if there's no stability and it can't get above 33, then it's our AI disappearing act back to $15.60 again. Okay. By the way, out there, I got 800 likes yesterday. Please hit that like button. If you're new, welcome. This is like the altcoin overtime part, and then we'll get to requests after this. Solana, $66.70, a rather big level. Currently, I think they're battling it out right there. So they want to see if they can go down, they can take it up to 81, or if it's going to fall apart and it's going to go to 36.5. So think about it. Look at this chart and think about the narrative that I'm giving you about the market. If this is the last rally and Solana doesn't turn around, even though Solana has a great use case now with NFTs, it either holds at 66 and it's over, or it winds up at 36. Again, you cannot underestimate what's going to happen if things at the big coins suddenly lose half their value. Now, if you're an Avalanche, there's good news, right? Avalanche is underperformed, hit support at 40 and bounced. There's support underneath it at 33. And unless the whole market is going to zero, 33 seems reasonable to hold an Avalanche. If it doesn't, well, we don't need the chart anymore. Okay? Polkadot, the long-suffering cadre of Polkadot fans will be happy to know that, a lot of guys were buying at 10. That was the July low. And a lot of people want to buy it and hold on. They're like, okay, I'll take some profits. I'll put the stop in at 10, and I'll see if I can ride it back up to 19. That makes sense. Right up until the point where it doesn't work. Okay? So 10 is support. I have no problem with people who want to hold this long-term buying at 10. Because if you're not holding it long-term, though, and everyone buys at 10 and it turns around, that would make me a little scared. Okay? Just be aware, 10 is massive support. It's probably washed out. Long-term players will enter. Your risk is that there's a problem with the rest of the market. Okay, Near Protocol, very difficult to understand these days. 9.6 is support, 1184 is resistance. So 788 is a support below the market in an event that it turns down. I think it would be very good for the market if Near got all the way back up to 12. I know that's a long way away, but it would be good for the market if that happened. I think if Near is below 10, that is a bad sign. Bad. Okay, Binance Coin. Very similar situation, right? Breakdown, broke below support, and now it's ripping back to support around 318. Really did think this coin had a lot of promise, and now we're in a situation where if it can't get back above 318, it's probably headed for 257. Okay, Gala. 12 cents, key level, right? 12 cents. So this thing has gotten totally destroyed. And the question is it going to make it? Are we going to make it in Gala games? Okay. 12 cents is the level it's got to get above. Okay. 8 cents is the real support point. Okay. If Gala can't get back through 12, then you have to assume you have risk to 8. Okay, Cardano, another sadly precarious situation, right? This is just like ETH. So ironically, ETH and Cardano are in the same boat when it comes to charts, right? Cardano is in this like nebulous no man's land. Cardano is in no man's land. Support's at 39 cents, resistance is at 84 cents. Okay, bulls have a lot of work to do to save this thing. Otherwise, you're going to wind up buying this at 39 or lower. Okay, QNT, a payment system with so much promise. Again, This is an example of what happens when they break the last support. They can't get back through it, right? The quant machine draws these supports, and when the market fails there, it's brutal. So if it happened in QNT, it can happen in any of the other big coins. Okay, Phantom. Can you believe this thing? Right? This is almost like the chart points aren't even there. 58 cents is like the next key level. It's got to get above that. Whoops. All right, Zcash. People asking about Zcash. 109 was the last level, and $83 is the support. Now, one thing about this, it's very subtle, but you have to think about it. In some of these cases, we're watching things pull up short of support. Like Cardano is not on support. ETH is not on support. Zcash, they're like, oh, you know what? We can't take it down to 83. We have to try to buy it. Well, normally that means if they take it back down, you go through support. You don't want to see stuff pulling up short of support points. You want to see them go through it or hold it or go through it and then come back. Okay, Sandbox. Oh, God, can't believe this, right? Resistance at 247 and 218. Okay, there is a lot of resistance here now. This was support. Now it's resistance because of how badly it failed there. And the computer doesn't show any support until 82 cents. I'm like, I can't even believe I got to say this on the air. Right? I mean, this is like the whole thing goes back where it came from. Now, sad to say, there are a lot of asset classes that have done this, right? They've done this. ARK, ARKK, right? It was actually the first instrument to basically unwind the whole pandemic money printing festival. There's nobody home here until 82 cents. Decentraland is a little bit better off, right? If it's below $1.10, it's going to go to 77. If it's above $1.10, it can go to $1.39 or $1.50. Okay, so Decentraland is in a little bit of a better position, okay, at least from a chart perspective, right? Now, Zilliqa, a lot of people are going to ask about this. 0.067 on the AI is a key level, right? 0.075 is another. Okay, the main support is at 0.051. The main thing with this is that all these things where everything went all the way up, they usually come all the way back down again. So until further notice, there's just, you can catch small dips on the way up, but once something tops, once the token metrics grade tops, it's done. Okay, Litecoin, someone asked about the worst case scenario. 93 is support and 93 is resistance. And there's an area between 59 and 42. So I'm guessing the worst case scenario, like everything else, if MicroStrategy leads Bitcoin down and Bitcoin leads Litecoin down, I'm assuming the worst case scenario is 42 to 59. The best case scenario is to have Litecoin stable above 93. And believe it or not, things like Litecoin could be a leading indicator for the market. Could be very constructive. I mean, you're going to need a 15, 20% rally to get there. But if that happens, again, could be very constructive for crypto. Okay, this is FTX, right? And some of these coins may go down in history, right? Like sponsoring sports teams, Formula One racing. I mean, if this turns into another 1929, the commercials and the sponsorships alone done by these crypto exchanges can go down in some sort of contrarian history book. We hope that's not the case, but we have to be realistic about it possibly happening. So with FTX, 35 is important. If it's above 35, it's good. If it's not above 35, it can go to 29. 35 to me seems very important. And that is altcoin overtime. Okay. All right, let's see what we got going on here. Okay, so we have requests for KDA and Flux. Oscar looking for XRP. Okay, so for KDA, we had a downside target. We had a downside target for KDA. I got to share the screen. Okay, so here's KDA. This is the 8-hour chart. So with KDA, we had a target of 297. So it did this huge overshot of the target at 297. And it's not showing us that our target was a bottom, because every time it goes there, it can't get back up there. Okay. Somebody says I need to speak to Bitcoin's manager. It's good. That's a good line. I like that. All right. It's like, will Bitcoin please report to the principal's office? KDA has to get above 297 or it's probably no good. Okay. Let's go to Algorand. Okay, so on a 4-hour chart, right? This is classic Algorand pain, right? All the way up, failed rally. Actually was going up when the market was going down. Then the market goes down. Algorand finds a base and comes back. So this is a 4-hour chart. So I would say Algorand is neutral, but you prefer to see it above 62 cents. 62 and a half. Okay. Chainlink. It's got to be a world of hurt in Chainlink. Okay, so the good news is this. There's a 13 and a 9 bottom, all right? And it looks like it's starting to count the other way. So if all goes well, Chainlink may get itself back up to 1025. Okay, if Chainlink doesn't, like, I'm not going to do the what happens if Chainlink goes down part, because I think we know what happens if Chainlink goes down. So here's Bitcoin on a 4-hour chart, just so we can see the DeMark work, right? There's a 13 and a 9 bottom, and it's trying to climb back into this moving average band. So there's some hope here. Okay, it's the same thing with the Bitcoin 90-minute chart. Okay, let's go to other requests. Okay, so this is Solana. Again, all this stuff is going to look the same with the 4-hour chart giving you the bottom. Okay, so here's Cosmos, right? Sometimes I think looking at the daily chart makes more sense. Just as an aside, this is probably the hardest type of a market to do request-based TA. It's not that I'm not doing it. Just the question always is, what's the right time frame? So with Cosmos, you know, the 13 and 9 bottom didn't really work. So Cosmos is essentially unwinding a dramatically oversold condition from yesterday. So if you liked Cosmos, I wouldn't blame you if you looked at this and said, you know what, Cosmos is okay. And it is okay as long as this rally doesn't fail. Even if the rally lasts 1 or 2 days, just you do not want to see a failed rally at this juncture. Okay? At this juncture. Okay, someone's asking for DXY and BTC. Okay, so the thing that people don't really understand about DXY, okay, is that it's being driven by this, which is dollar yen. Okay, so dollar strengthens, the yen weakens, and this number goes up. So dollar yen has got a lot of room to move higher. Not a lot of room, but 2 or 3 points in dollar yen is a lot. Now, if you look at the dollar index, okay, and then put Bitcoin on it, okay, you know, the dollar index has only gone from 97 to 103, and Bitcoin has started to accelerate. So this is my question for you. What happens if Bitcoin is foreshadowing an acceleration up in the dollar index? Like, what happens if the dollar index gaps to 108 because of the inflation numbers, right? Because everybody just goes, I just want to be in the dollar. Okay, that's what you have to ask yourself. Now, conversely, you'd say, wow, this is really overdone. Bitcoin, everybody panicked, and nothing really happened with the dollar. That's also possible. Okay, you have to watch the inflation numbers. All I know is dollar yen just sits here at 130 and is not backing off. And I was thinking, I mean, would you sell this? Up, sideways, up, sideways, up, sideways. Right? I mean, there may be a blow off at some point, but if the dollar accelerates higher, that's going to hurt Bitcoin. Okay, let's check Matic. Okay, so can't come up with a reason to sell Matic down here. You know, I know that we have a Matic chart that had support at like 62 cents, but this actually looks okay to me. This looks okay to me, right? And helium, I know that's going to be something you're looking to buy, right? Helium is on the shopping list if they just annihilate the market. So yesterday was the 13 bottom. Today is an up candlestick. Okay, the question is, will it stay an up candlestick? And if it does, can they put in a second one together? In other words, everybody's like, oh, wow, I'll buy Polkadot at 10, or gee, I'll grab some helium at like below 11. But are they going to want to buy it at higher prices? That's the question coming into tomorrow. Okay, so VeChain pulled up of major support, which was all the way down at 3 cents. Okay, this looks like a bottom in VeChain from a DeMark point of view. That's good. What do I say about DeMark work, though? When DeMark work is working, it is awesome. It is unbelievable. When DeMark work stops working, in other words, when the trend reversal system doesn't work anymore, okay, then you know something is wrong. Right, so I'll show you this and say, okay, VeChain looks all right. And then if 16 hours from now, VeChain's not all right, you're like, oh my God, right? This could include 24 or 48 hours from now. Okay, wrong again. Yes, you did miss the market update. Okay, I would sum it up this way. This could be the last rally. I hope that's wrong, but it could be. And if it is, you're going to have to do something with your portfolio. Okay, somebody was asking for Flux. Okay, so Flux hit support. You know, the low was like around 82 cents. Very hard to get negative on Flux. at this level, right? Like it looked great at $2.10, and I'm sure it looked awful at 81. People are covering today. All right. The question in every reversal is, will you get follow through? Will you get follow through? That's what you have to ask. Like today, it looks great, but Bitcoin dominance. Okay, so somebody's asking for flux via Token Metrics, I believe. So let's go to Token Metrics. Okay, so here's one thing we're tracking on Token Metrics. We're tracking SYN, S-Y-N, right? And I'm really just interested in this chart. And I'm interested in this because, a reputable analyst is discussing this as a cross-chain trading opportunity. Okay. The grade shot up, but the grade rolled over. So I always like it when the grade shoots up and the grade stays up. Now, a couple things that came from our spreadsheet today. Okay. We had XMAX, a very small market cap coin. As you can see here in the yellow, the Token Metrics grade is rising. So the grade, okay, is rising and price has not done much. So this is how we identify coins here. All right. These are the only 3 coins that, despite yesterday's crash, that the AI kind of picked up on them. All right. They bumped up their grade, even though the market was crashing. So if we try to look at flux, because I know that's something that people look like, or that people look at. Okay. Greetings from Poland. Hello. Welcome to the show. Okay. One thing I can do with this is I want to show something that's really important, I think. So you can do this one of 2 ways. This is bringing up our all exchange index. And when this comes up, you're going to notice one important thing. The market has not gone to all cash yet. It hasn't. It's still putting money in cryptos. Now that's good for the market, right? In other words, a lot of times when RAI is like, get out and go to cash, that's when you get cataclysms that were even bigger than yesterday. One of my concerns is that maybe the reason RAI has not gone to cash is because RAI has never seen anything like 1929. Either that or it's back to business. Like, maybe it's time to buy Pluton, right? Or it's time to buy any of the coins in these indices because the market is so depressed, right? Like if you go to Coinbase Pro, just to see if what the AI is like managing to scrape up from, the coins that it likes on any particular exchange. Okay. So we're going to wait for that to come up and switch back out. Okay. And go back to requests. Okay. Let's check where the market is first. Okay, so stocks are up today. All right. So, that whole consecutive down day streak probably isn't going to be a concern at this point, right? So you have 3 days and then an up day. So I don't know. That's possibly good for stocks, but the day's not over yet. You don't know. Okay. ARK actually tried to come back today, even though it's still below where it opened. Okay. And somebody was asking for Bitcoin dominance. Okay. So Bitcoin dominance is not moving. Okay. But Bitcoin dominance is inside of a gigantic downward sloping range. Okay. And I don't know. I get this feeling that if something happens to Bitcoin, something worse is going to happen to the altcoin market. Either that or Bitcoin will rise again and lead the whole market out. But this feels like Bitcoin dominance wants to go up. Call me crazy. Okay. Okay, so like so many things, Aave has gotten to support, right, around 110, and they're trying to make a go of it. And the real question is, right, like here's ApeCoin, which I know has nothing to do with Aave, but, you know, ApeCoin makes the 13 bottom, and there's not a lot of enthusiasm on the rally. Where is the enthusiasm on the rallies? Okay, so far, this looks okay for Aave. I think one thing you may have to ask yourself is if has Luna shattered the faith in the DeFi system? I know that's a super huge bummer. I prefer to say it as, you know, has this sort of, you know, created a doubt as to whether or not Bitcoin is collateral. I think the subplot is you do have to be a little bit careful about some of the tokenomics behind these DeFi protocols, right? In case this Luna thing lasts more than one day. Like somebody lost money yesterday and someone's going to call the SEC about it. Like I can promise you that. Okay, let's go to XRP and Cardano. Okay, so here is XRP daily. All right, so the good news is XRP got the support right at around 50 cents, okay, and held. Now, the question is, as with all things with XRP, it's kind of a range trading game. So 55 cents, right, was the prior low. It smashed below that. Now they got to get back above it to be good. Again, you can have a one-day bounce, right? Like, you know, ETH can go up. Let's just put ETH up here on like an 89-minute chart. You know, it's a very busy picture. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, you can have a rally in ETH, okay? But how much enthusiasm is there, right? There doesn't seem to be much, at least not right now, okay? So we'll see what happens with the inflation number tomorrow. Now, someone will ask about Cardano, even though I know we covered it earlier. So you have this kind of like awful, violent down move, which doesn't even, it was so violent, it didn't even register really with the DeMark system. Okay. Now Cardano is maybe got another day. So maybe you can look for another positive day in Cardano before you have to make any type of hard choice. Okay. Let's see if we can get a couple others and then wrap up. Not sure some understand the Luna thing. Okay. Well, what happened with the Luna thing is they had a stable coin backed by Luna, which was backed by Bitcoin. So as with things in markets, value is a perception. People lost faith. That's it. That's it. Right? They lost faith in the stable coin. They lost faith in that system. Right? And the people running it, most likely. So I understand it was very humbling for those people that they had to sell the way they had to sell. And now everyone is left wondering, you know, was that the shot fired around the world? So even if you don't understand the particulars of the Luna thing, what you need to understand is how do things work going forward? In other words, will somebody look at a green day in crypto and go, let's go? I'm in. Let's buy it. Or is everybody going to look at a down day in crypto and go, well, let someone else buy it? And the shorts are like, well, I'm afraid to be short, and no one does anything, and all of a sudden, boom, something happens. Okay. I think the worst thing you can do in this environment, particularly if you're afraid, is to stay afraid. Right? The worst thing you can do if you're afraid is to stay afraid. Right? Moving out of fear and into action to preserve your sanity is the imperative. Okay. Somebody was asking for Rune. My bad. Forgot about that. Okay. And then we'll wrap it up here. Okay. So $4.11 is important in Rune. Unfortunately, this thing came all the way down, up, and all the way back down again. Okay. So if there is a problem, right? How do I see stable coins? I don't think stable coins will be the problem. Okay. It will be a question of faith in the system. Like, I know there are details about Luna that people were mentioning in the chat. I just know that when they had to massively liquidate like the way they did, the fact, whatever caused them to liquidate is less important to how the market absorbs the shock of the liquidation. Liquidations are never done by appointment. Bad news, trouble, never makes an appointment. It just shows up. So the details of that trouble, like, does anyone care why Bear Stearns went bankrupt in 2008? No. But it was the fact that it happened that changed everybody's thinking. Okay? It changed everybody's thinking. Okay, so an interesting question about Solana. What are the odds that Solana can get back above 80? Okay, so earlier, if you were watching the video, right, for Altcoin Overtime, we featured a lot of work talking about quant and AI-driven support and resistance points. So 78 to 80 is a key level. Let's see if I can stop share this and pull Solana up on Token Metrics. Okay, so in Solana, just a reminder about the close encounters formation with our grade, right? Our grade spiked, Solana spiked, and then much to my dismay, our grade started to go down, and then Solana cracked, right? So our grade topped out when Solana topped out around 116, and it never came back. So trading view on Solana, you know, there's good green volume today, but these scores are still really low. Probably to get above 80, you'd need a sharp jump in the grade. You need the AI to see Solana rally and then pick up on it. That's a guess. All right, folks, that's going to be it for today. I want to thank everybody who came on. If you did not get your coin looked at, we are going to be here all week. All right. So let's review. Today, the market's probably going to wind up being up. The market may wind up being up tomorrow. I don't know. But whatever it is, if this is the last rally, then event risk increases as we head into CPI and next week. If you can afford to lose half the money you've got invested, well, think about what happens if you would lose more than that. Right? Think about your sanity as the market is green. Because if this scenario that we've been talking about now for at least 2 months plays out, this is the last rally. Let's hope not. Okay. But let's hope for the best, but plan for the worst. All right. This is Bill Noble. I will be here tomorrow. Take care.